Hello. Thanks for inviting me, and thanks for a very interesting talk, Laura. I am not an academic. I'm not an archivist. I'm an end user of data. I go to your archives and try to find something interesting. It's difficult to explain my dislike for the concept of being an investigative journalist. It's a marketing thing to call myself an investigative journalist, because journalism is all about investigating and confirming stories and information, and we have to use data. We have to use stories from individuals. We have to examine rumors. We have to look in all sorts of places for the stories we deliver to our audience or readers. But we are here talking about archives and places that store large amounts of data. And that is really interesting and really important for me at the moment, because for the past 6 months or so, I've been working on reports on an avalanche that fell on an Icelandic town called Súðavík in 1995. And we recently published quite extensive reporting on the facts around the way that afsakið, nú enskan að bregðast mér. My English is failing. Hættumat, what's the risk assessment on the dangers of an avalanche falling. This is something that everyone in Iceland knows about, this event in Súðavík in 1995, and we all have some personal connection to it. Either we know someone who lived in Súðavík, we remember the shock when the news came that an avalanche had fallen over the town. But now, when 28 years have passed, there's an opportunity to go into the archives and see the material that has been stored there, so we can understand and learn something about it. Because we have stories that people tell, we have feelings that people share, we have their individual upplifun experience with it, and that taint is not a great word to use in this context, but still it's the right word to use. It taints their facts that they present. So it's really important for people like me, journalists, investigative journalists, to be able to go to a place that keeps facts, that stores facts, that we can go and we can mirror what people are telling us, what people remember, with the facts that were produced at the time and by the individuals who were on the ground and made the risk assessment, the scientific evidence that is stored in quite large quantities of paper. And we can go through it and we can see a picture, the data that's stored there paints a picture and which sets the scene for the stories that people are telling. Okay, my English is, I wish I could do this in Icelandic, but I'm trying my best, Laura.
Go ahead, and somebody will just nudge me when I should pay attention.
But the thing that the talk that Laura presented us with today that stuck with me the most is the digital side of things. Because I'm used to as was mentioned, investigate the fishing industry. And that's something that isn't something I'm looking 28 years back in time at, like with Súðavík and the avalanche. It's something that's happening now or last year. And I just go online, go to fiskistofa.is, which is a terrible website, but keeps a lot of data. And I can download a spreadsheet and I can go through it. But sometimes these spreadsheets, they're changed after the fact. Sometimes they disappear. Sometimes you just can't find them. And I'm worried that we are ignoring the importance of keeping digital data like this, like we keep printed out versions or handwritten notes and stuff like that we have in the archives, Þjóðskjalasafns and all kinds of archives all around Iceland. But at the same time, I have fresh in my mind the fact that in Súðavík, you can't go to their archive, or bæjarskrifstofunni, the city hall, because their archives were destroyed during the avalanche. We don't know what information, I can't verify what information authorities there had before the avalanche fell, because it was destroyed. And now I would love it. That was a digital spreadsheet I can just download. So it has to go hand in hand how we do these things. And I just wanted to mention, I've been trying to follow the news now during this lecture, I'm sorry, because of this big meeting we're having. And at the moment, there is a big online attack on Alþingis website, Stjórnarráðið website. And there, someone anonymous is attacking the web servers. And I'm worried now, I mean, what about all the data of Fiskistofa? How am I going to access that now? I mean, is that data gone? Has someone printed it out? Has someone stored it like they should? And this is something that's of a great concern. And the local newspaper that Laura mentioned, if that goes bankrupt, I mean, it wasn't a local newspaper that went bankrupt in Iceland just this year, Fréttablaðið. I mean, now it's just in the hands of some liquidator if all their archives are kept somewhere. I mean, the Fréttablaðið.is, the website, it's offline. You can't access it. I mean, the printed edition is kept at Þjóðarbókhlaðan Þjóðarbókhlaðan, and you can access it both like in the printed version and a digital copy of it. But what about the videos? What about the podcasts? What about the online small news bulletins that are published? I mean, you can't access that. And yeah, I have some concerns about all of this, and I believe you do too. And of course, we have to work together to make it clear how important this is. But in my field, journalism, I mean, we're always struggling with someone funding our work. We're always struggling with teaching new journalists the right methods of doing this work. Yeah, so we need everyone to work together on this, and we need to be in an active dialogue together about how we preserve data so we can use it later to understand and learn. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.